Well, there was a 7-2 ruling today by the courts of Ontario and British Columbia that they found that it was proportionate and reasonable for the law societies of these provinces to no longer give accreditation to students who practice at the Trinity Western University. And the reason for this is because they make their students sign a covenant, and this covenant makes it so they're like, oh, promise not to lie, cheat, steal, this and that. And one of the main things that they found an issue with was, uh, you know if don't have sex before marriage, and if you do, make sure you're in a heterosexual relationship. And this they found discriminatory towards LGBTQ people. And now, like, that university, like, it's just going to be like null and void their degrees. Like, they're just not going to apply in these provinces anymore. So it's like you're destroying your own economy like, so stupidly. Like, this is a private business. Like, they're not even taking government funds. I'm sure, well, it is Canada, so I'm sure they're getting some kind of subsidies or whatever, but majority of it is private. And you're going to come in and destroy it. And now there's going to be less people within your province that are going to be able to get law degrees. Like, there's going to be less money coming into your province because people who are going there to go to school and stuff, they're going to spend in your economy. They're going to go to your stores and all these things. So now you've just kind of ruined that for what? For the feelings of some gay people and stuff who knew where they were going to, who knew what school they were going to, who what covenant that they had to sign. Like, it's like, man, like, well, what is wrong with these fucking idiots today? It's like, either you're brain dead, or you're stupid, or you're doing this on purpose just to fuck them over, just to ruin their business because they believe in something that you don't like, and which is fucked up. Like, I really wish that these gay people acted the same way towards Muslims and started going to mosques and stuff and doing this shit, and started, like, trying to impede on their freedoms. But no, they only go for Christians because they are the easiest target. It's really easy to go after somebody who believes and turn the other cheek. It's very easy. And this is one of the reasons why they go after Christians. Other religions do not have that same tenet, right? And, like, I'm an atheist. I'm not even religious, but I grew up Catholic, Christian, so it's like, I still have some affinity to them. And at the same time, they comprise the majority of my culture. Like, Christianity is responsible for a lot of the way society is at the moment. Like, forgiveness, like that only comes from Christianity, from what I know. And that concept itself is amazing, right? It is probably I think one of the most foundational things to human society right now. Like, and for why our societies were able to flourish as well. Like, just the concept of being able to forgive somebody and then move past it, and to start progressing together as a species, other than constantly fighting and infighting, and an eye for an eye, the Old Testament style. That does not work. So it's like, it's really fucked that Canada especially keeps going after these Christians. Like, Trudeau goes in, takes away their funding for their school programs if they don't sign this thing where they said, like, we agree with gay rights or whatever. Like, it's insane. Like, the level of shit that Christians get. And everybody's like, oh, I'm persecuted, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. But it's like, look at the media. Do you ever see, like, look at the way Christians are depicted in movies or this or TV shows? Like, they're always bumbling idiots. They're depicted as that, or they're pedophiles or something. Like, all the priests are pedophiles and shit, like they're doing to the Catholic Church, where, yes, there was a problem. But look at schools right now. Every day there's some fucking teacher who's raping some student, a woman teacher raping a fucking student. Every day, we're finding out the sexual abuse that's going on in Hollywood and these places and this place and this place. But the only people they ever focus on is Christians. It's always Christians, right? And you know, this is like like I said, I'm an atheist now, but like I align with Christians. They believe more in the things, they have the same values and principles that I do to a large degree. So yeah, I'd rather stick with these people who have consistent principles, you know, who aren't wishy-washy and all moral relativists, right? And this is a problem with secular society right now, today, and a lot of atheists and stuff, is they don't see the value, and they want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and they want to just destroy religion. Not even religion, they want to destroy Christianity. And we see this, you know, the court decision, 7-2. That is fucked, man. 7-2 for this. And none of them found a problem with it. Like, no, yeah, you know, they're discriminating against these gay people, so we gotta force them to do this, and we're gonna waste all these kids' times who went and got a degree at this university. Now they're gonna have to move to other provinces to practice law. So it's like, whatever, you know, hopefully that just fucks you in the long term, and that just gets more people to leave your province, and more people that have, like, you know, high degrees, that are like smart, intelligent. Hopefully that just gets them to leave and come to my province instead. It'd bring, you know, wealth and jobs here instead. I would much prefer that. But, you know, keep pandering to these people. But all they're really doing, all this is accomplishing, is taking away more of our rights, you know, in the sake, in the name of social justice. It's like, you know, it's like, oh, just give up, you know, this freedom and this freedom, so this guy doesn't feel like he's hurt, and this person doesn't feel offended. You know, just do this because, you know, it's a good thing to do. But it's like, no, we're slowly ceding away our rights, and this is why society has been moving left, more and more left. This is why Canada, we have fucking conservatives like Andrew Scheer and shit. Like, there's nobody to look at, really, that is an actual conservative anymore. It's really fucking hard to see them. And it's like, you know, because we keep ceding ground, and we gotta start pushing back. We gotta start saying things that they you know, they've already deemed as taboo. You know, I'm not saying start saying the N-word and insulting people and shit like that. No, don't be a fucking idiot, right? But start talking about topics and things that they have decided are taboo. Like, look at Christianity is now taboo to the mainstream left, right? Like, just their average beliefs that they've had for thousands and thousands of years are now just taboo, and they're like, you gotta change it. And it's like, you know, like, they seem to think everybody is just a more relativist like them, and is able to just, you know, it's like people that cannot just give up their principles like as easily as you can. It's like people, they don't seem to understand the relation between religion and belief, and that people actually do believe their religion. Like, this is why they don't understand that Islam motivates terrorism, because they're like, well, they probably, you know, they're more or less like me, they don't think this, and they obviously don't believe, and, you know, this part and this passage, they obviously probably read it differently. It's like, no, this is what their religion tells them to do, this is what they believe. So it's the same thing with Christians. They're like, oh no, you're just a bigot, you're a racist because you hate gays. It's like, no, they don't hate gays, this is just what they believe. Like, this is what God told them to think, to believe. And if you believe in hell, if you believe in eternal damnation, I would believe that too, right? How are you getting mad at people who are trying to avoid eternal damnation, right? Like I said, I'm an atheist, but you gotta understand that people actually believe this shit. And even if they didn't, right? People should have the right to discriminate. You know, we need freedom of association back. We need to have the right to discriminate, because without having that right, this is what leads to more conflicts in the end, right? Because let's just say there's like a town that people are like, oh, it's racist and all this stuff, but and there's some black people in there, and now the law comes and forces them to serve everybody and equally and stuff. Like, those people are still going to have those resentments. They're still not going to like them or whatever. But if you allow people to discriminate, they could, like, yeah, not sell to them, and eventually those people would move away. And then you would still have, you know, your society, they'd be happier, you know? Like, they wouldn't have to live with people whom they don't want to live with. And they wouldn't have to be forced to put kids in schools with other kids that they don't want to put their kids into with, right? And whether that's right or wrong is irrelevant. You know, people should have that fucking right. The world is big, you know? Most people who have come to Canada have come here voluntarily, right? So, you know, with a welfare state, with all this, with all the wealth that our ancestors have already created, right? So it's like, you know, you've come here voluntarily, you know, you should, you know, abide by our customs, by our rules. You know, when in Rome, you know, you do what the Romans do. This is how most societies have functioned throughout generations, but we have somehow lost that, you know. And it's like, you know, the especially Christians, they are being attacked every fucking day, and you know, we got to stand up for them, and we got to, like, come to their protection, because once it's them, then it's going to be us. Once they're out of the way, then, you know, these leftists, they will never stop. They will, once somebody's out of the way, it's going to be somebody else, and it's just going to keep going down the road over and over and over again. But this is a horrible decision by the courts, and this, you know, just lets us know that our court system, and at least Ontario and British Columbia, is just run by fucking leftists. And it doesn't give me much hope for any other laws like this coming to the high courts in the future, you know. But that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good day. See ya.